I welcome all the listeners. Before starting, I would like to thank Principal Professor Dr. Maushmi Datta for giving us an idea of starting our own podcast. I would also like to thank Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator Professor Dr. Mona Mehta for helping us to make this podcast come into existence. This podcast is in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell, which is hosted by the Department of Multimedia and Mass Communication. So let's start with a new episode of NKC Spotlight. In this episode, we are in conversation with our college librarian, Ms. Sonali Karekar. She is going to share her experiences and expectations for students. To get more insights, we are also going to talk about what it is to be like a librarian. So let's start with the podcast. Firstly, ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I would like to thank the entire podcast team and Mrs. Preeti Rao madam.
Ma'am, you have been part of this college for a while now. Could you share us your overall experience?
Yes, my experience has been fulfilling and dynamic. Interacting with students keeps me engaged with the activities. I enjoy helping students and faculty members in their research and studies. The college has been very supportive, and so I have been able to give the online services and other new technological services to the students and faculty members.
Ma'am, the library has so much to offer. So are there any unique or unknowing things that you would like to share to our students?
Yes, many students are unaware about library resources, digital resources. We do have access to digital resources and e-books as well. We do provide various services to the users. Students are unaware about it. We do have significance of the day facility, virtual library facility, ask a librarian facility, recommend a book facility, and providing access to digital resources as well as physical resources.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing us. I'm sure that we got to know about a lot of things which a library provides. Ma'am, managing book returns can sometimes be a bit tricky. So how do you handle the books which are been returning late?
Library is having a late return policy in that if the students are returning books late, they have to pay fine. And if the student is having valid reason, so we become lenient and we discuss some alternatives for that also.
Running a library involves a lot of tasks which a student might not be aware of. So could you tell us how your typical day looks like?
It starts with procuring new books, finding digital resources like journal articles, reference collections on digital databases, and starting with cataloging, circulation, collecting fines, and resolving students' academic queries like finding any article on any research or any databases.
Yeah, so hearing this, I would believe that your typical day is quite piled up with some of the other work, and it's a bit hectic for a librarian. But thank you for letting us know. In order to improve a library environment, what expectations do you have from the students?
I expect students to visit the library often, explore our catalog, and explore the collection, physical collection and digital collection, so they will get relevant and right information for their research and study.
Ma'am, are there any challenges that you face, and if yes, how do you tackle it?
Yes, the first key challenge for the library is unawareness about the library resources and the services. To overcome this challenge, I would recommend students to visit the library often, go to the shelves and explore the content of the books and digital resources, so you can get familiar with the information which is actually correct and which is actually accurate and relevant for your studies and research.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, I'm sure that the college provides a lot of seminars and orientations. So could you tell us the more information regarding this?
Yes, in the beginning of the year, we do conduct orientation programs for first year students, and that we do demonstrate library services. What are the library rules? What are the policies of the library? What are the databases which we are subscribing, and how they can access the resources? we do tell them, we do demonstrate about plagiarism detection software also, and other activities which we conducted the previous year. And we encourage students to participate in various activities, various upcoming activities, so they will get some information about digital resources and the physical collection of the library.
Before concluding, I would like to apologize you, because the very first time when I visited the library, I was in first year. I was not aware of what are the rules and I violated it. Like, we were shooting in the library and I was listening to music that was not at all allowed. Then the staff member entered, they took our ID cards and they asked us to write a letter to you. And I'm sure that here are some people who are there with me during that time. So yeah, I violated that rule, and we got to know that no, the rules are really strict, and if the rules have been violated, strict actions could be taken, and it has to be there, because when we experienced it, we got to know that no, again, we are not going to make the same mistake again. So thank you, and I apologize for that.
Library rules are for students only. Yeah. If one student is violating, that means other students can do the same thing. Every student has to follow the rules so the other students can study peacefully.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time and sharing the insights to the students. We got to know a lot of activities, what a library offers, and I'm sure that after listening this podcast, we will make sure that we are visiting and, taking all the benefits which our library is providing to our college. So thank you so much for joining us, ma'am, today, and thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Stay tuned for the new episode.